Most developers think about security only after something breaks, but security engineers try to predict attacks before they happen. That process is called threat modeling. In this video, I'll show you a simple framework for threat modeling a React Native application with a Node backend and how to start thinking like an attacker. So instead of jumping into complex security models, I like to start with a very simple four-step process. First, we need to understand the system, identify the asset, identify attack surface, ask abuse question. This approach makes threat modeling much easier for developers. Before thinking about attacks, we first need to understand the system. This mobile application communicates with a backend API, and the backend stores the data in a database. So threat modeling always starts with architecture because attackers don't attack code first, they attack the system. Identify the asset. So what are we actually trying to protect? So we are trying to protect user credential, personal data, payment information, JSON web tokens, and admin access. So assets are the things attackers want. If attacker gain access to this, your system is compromised. So let's identify attack surface. Attack surface is every place where attackers can interact with your system. Like for example, logging API profiles, endpoint, file uploads, search queries, authentication tokens, mobile app reverse engineer. So every input in your system is a potential attack vector. This is very important mindset for developers. So now let's take a look at abuse case thinking. So instead of asking how feature should work, we should ask how could someone abuse this feature, right? So for example, we have insecure direct object reference, then we have brute force attacks, and we have spoofing, right? In insecure direct object reference, if you haven't watched the videos in my YouTube channel, we have a list called securing React Native apps. You can find example in how to secure this. Also, we have the brute force too. We can basically secure this with a rate limiting, and we have this one too, right? How we can modify a JSON web token and how we can make it more secure. And we have all of those videos there. Security engineers often use a framework called STRIVE to categorize threats. So the S stands for spoofing, which basically means to pretend to be other user, right? We have the T, which stands for tampering, and basically this modify the data, right? And then we have repudiation, which is basically denying actions. And then we have information disclosure, which is basically leaking sensitive data, right? And then we have denial of service, which basically is crashing the system by sending a lot of requests to an API endpoint, right? And then we have evaluation of privilege, which basically is gaining admin access, right? Threat modeling is about designing system assuming attacker exists, right? Security isn't just about fixing bugs. It is about thinking, how could someone break this? How could someone abuse this? What could an attacker try first? So most developers face security issues after they appear. Threat modeling helps us identify those problems before they happen. And once you start thinking this way, you'll design much more secure system. Please like and subscribe. That helps me a lot. And thank you for watching. I see you in the next